Our topic is all about the eligibility requirements of the new pilot program. Okay, so there are 5 eligibility requirements under this pilot program, and to mention with, number 1 is the job offer, number 2 is the ability to do the job, number 3, education requirement is 1 year post-secondary, the language requirement, which is benchmark of 5, and then admissibility requirements. Okay, let's go first briefly to the job offer. So we are reiterating these eligibility requirements because we want to tackle the educational credential assessment, yung ECA na tinatawag natin. Okay, first let's go with the job offer. So this job offer should come from a Canadian employer. So this could be an employer on a private household setting. So it cannot be a care home facilities, nursing home, long-term care facilities, hindi po pwede yan. So it has to be a private household, yung private families po. Hindi po pa pwedeng sa retirement home or sa nursing home na i-hire tayo and then we will be deployed to different clients on their private homes or on the facilities itself. So it cannot be. So those employers from these care homes cannot issue job offers. And only those employers who are in a private household are allowed to be employers under this pilot program. So pilot program is NAC code 4411, Care for Children, and 4412, home support worker. So the eligibility requirements, if we go to the NAC codes, we have to look on NAC 4411, and there the requirements under this program will be itemized on that eligibility requirements. So it's just 4411 and 4412. Care for children and care for elderly lang po tayo. Okay, so with the ability to do the job, so it should be a Canadian employer on a private household. Ano ba yung mga requirements ng employers na kailangan na ibigay sa atin? Kasi if we have to submit an application package, we have to secure the documentations from our employers. So the job offer is IMM 5983. It has to be properly filled out by your employer and yourself for let's say the personal information of your employer, if accommodation will be provided, the number of rooms and everything. It's just like the previous program. It's just the contract and the LMIA application was compressed into one immigration form, the IMM 5983, which is the job offer from a Canadian employer. It should be signed by the employer and yourself. So, ano bang mga kailangan natin for an eligible employer? So, first, the employer has to secure a CRA business number. Ano po ba itong CRA business number? This CRA business number is provided by Revenue Canada. Your employer must call Revenue Canada to have registered a business number. Once they call, they will be provided an outright business number. And then they have to request the proof of confirmation that they have applied. That's what we call PD7A, to be mailed into the employer, and we have to attach this on our application. Okay, now if your employer has a separate business, let's say they have a printing business or they have manufacturing, they have already an existing business number, but that is not the one required for this pilot program. So that is a separate and distinct from the existing business number. They still have to call Revenue Canada for a business number to hire foreign workers. Okay, now your employer must have the financial ability to hire you. So ano itong financial ability? So they have to have money, they have to have income. So this is evidenced by the CRA Notice of Assessment issued here in Canada. So let's say for 2020, if you're applying for 2020, so the Notice of Assessment that is required is the 2019 Notice of Assessment. There are instances wherein employer are not very comfortable sending you their notice of assessment or their proof of income or their bank statements. So this is allowed that they will, if Immigration Canada will be asking for these documents, they will be contacted, and there is an option for them to send these documents directly to immigration. So don't feel sorry or don't feel bad na your employers are not able to provide you with these confidential documents, but this is still allowable because on the job offer IMM 5983, this is an optional if you want to provide the notice of assessment, and if not, it could be provided on a later date. But there is a portion on the job offer likewise that you could place an approximate amount of income that your employer have earned on the current tax year. Let's say they have earned 300,000, just place 300,000 more or less. And also to remind you, we consultants, we on the ESDC, on the LMI application in the past, there is what we call a financial ability calculator. There is a formula wherein you have to identify how much is the household income, that is husband and wife, and added information are the LICO. We have a low income cut-off table. Let's say it's a family of 5. There is a table wherein they say family of 5 and income requirement, let's say it's 80,000. So the 80,000 LICO, you add the income of the caregiver for 1 year, and then the total of that will be subtracted from the household income. If you get a positive figure from the formula, then your employer has the financial ability to hire a foreign worker. And on the other side, if you get negative figures after the calculation, it doesn't mean that your employer is not eligible to hire foreign workers. There is an alternative wherein the employer could present bank statements wherein to support the negative figures. Let's say this happens mostly with our elderly employers, wherein the notice of assessments only bears their pension or some other smaller income, and wouldn't be sufficient for them to hire a caregiver. But if they have money reserves from the bank, let's say cash in bank, some other investments, that could be showed in order to show the financial ability of the employer to pay the foreign worker. Okay, so another proof of financial ability of the employer, you could show the letter of employment, and then birth certificates of the person to be cared for, if they are children, to show parentage, and also if elderly persons to be cared for, you could show the birth certificates if there are no medical conditions to show that they are elderly, or if they have medical condition or both, you could show doctor certificate stating that this employer has a medical disability. Or okay, so shout out muna tayo. Hello, Portugal Dal Alan. Ma'am, can I ask question? I applied for spousal sponsorship. If I talk to the member of the parliament, do you think mas mapapadali ang processing ng documents? There are instances wherein you contact the MP na they will give you an outright update. Kasi pagka ang members ng parliament ang tumawag sa MP or nag-email, by law, they have to respond sa inquiry within the 10 business days. So, sasabihin nila doon kung if still in process or something, hindi po yan ipapabilis yung processing. Ngayon, kung it's over processing time na, yes, medyo mapapabilis siguro yan. They will look into it kung ano ba yung problem, kung mayroon pang mga documents na kailangan ibasa. Then they will be, the MP will be contacted on what is the real situation of your application. But to speed up the process, hindi masyadong guaranteed kapag ka nag-MP ka. Ang guarantee lang yan, mabibigyan ka ng current status update. Okay? Okay, I hope I answered your question, Alan. Okay, now let's go to the ability to do the job. So, marami kasi tayo ng mga caregivers from overseas na nagtatanong kung ano ba talaga yung mga requirements. So, yung live po natin ngayon, napakalaking tulong po ito kasi I'm giving free first-hand information po sa mga applicants. And as we said, our expertise is on the caregiver program, and we've been doing this for quite a while. That's why we have the knowledge and expertise on how are the eligibility requirements for an applicant to be able to qualify under the new pilot. Okay, before we proceed, let's shout out again Joanna Joyce, Ani Anyo Nuevo, Roda Pamplona, Jamel Larin, Nelson Corailaw, Maria Isabel, Nikki Saavedra, Cheryl Cotakte Pajo, Katrina Flores, Danilo Cabrera, She Cantolas, from EC Ayoral. Is there another interim for caregiver? So, I don't think there will be another interim pathway for caregiver. Kasi these interim pathways are only launched if there is a transition between the old and the new. Let's say, paris itong ating pilot program, nag-end na yung in-home caregiver program, tapos nag-launch ng bagong program na itong new caregiver pilots. So, nagbigay sila ng parang amnesty na yung mga hindi maka-qualify under the new program. This new interim pathway will absorb, parang nasa middle siya. Ito yung old, ito yung new, ito yung sa middle. So, kapag hindi siya ma-qualify dito, parang ito yung pinaka-leniency program na mapapag-qualify sila for PR under this new program with lesser strict requirements. So I wish Immigration Canada would be able to launch this, but I doubt it because there is the program under the new pilot has been launched only for over a year. So mahirap po umasa na magkakaroon ng interim. I know marami tayong problema lalong-lalo na sa ECA natin. Kaya we will be discussing ECA dito. And what are the possibilities that we will be able to meet ECA. Okay? Alright. So, Jazz Madrid. Ma'am, may nagsabi po wala daw implied status ang HCCP. Madami po na nag-aalala sa misleading na infos na ito. Totoo po ba ito, ma'am? Thank you po. Just hindi totoo yan. Implied status, kasi ang definition ng implied status is pagka meron kang current work permit ngayon, and then you applied for extension or dun sa nag-switch ka for another program, merong parang work permit extension, pares ng new pilot, meron tayong restricted open work permit. So, nandito ka sa Canada, nagpasa ka ng PR before your work permit expires. So, naipasa na yan, nasubmit na, nakuha na ng immigration or nabigyan ka na ng AOR. And then, tomorrow, nag-expire na ang iyong current work permit. So definitely you are on implied status. Kasi tinanong na rin namin yan sa immigration representative mailbox na ang implied status is a valid status. Meron kasing mga akala nila pagka na-expire na yung status nila, wala na silang status and then they have to do restoration. That's incorrect. Because you have submitted another extension of your status before it expires. So that brings you on implied status. So even though nag-expire na yan after na makapag-submit ka, legally allowed to stay in Canada. So the condition will be what on your current work permit, let's say you're on your same employer, childcare, nag-expired ka na, nakapasa ka na, so you're on implied status, makakapagtrabaho ka under the same condition dun sa employer mo. Let's say, makakapagtrabaho siya sa kanya, legally, makakapag-remit siya ng taxes, tapos ikaw may enjoy mo rin yung privilege na magstay ka ng Canada until final decision is received. Okay, now, under implied status ka, nag-apply ka ng open work permit, restricted open work permit stage 1, bridging open work permit stage 2, and pagka na-refuse yung permanent residence application mo na ipinasa mo dahil hindi ka kompleto or hindi ka pa eligible, then yung restricted open work permit mo or yung bridging open work permit mo will be refused also. Kasi nakakabit yun dun sa PR application mo. Now, kapag yan na-refuse and then yung current work permit mo is long time expired na, yung time na decision kung anong date yun, sasabihin naman sa letter dun, your temporary residence status expires today. Let's say December 12. Nag-expired na yan. Expired. You are a person with no status, but you are eligible to apply for restoration of status within the 90-day time frame if you wishes to so. So with that, there are lots of things to do pa eh. Kasi let's say kung ano man yung refusal reason mo yun at ma-overturn mo because ito ipapasa mo, i-justify mo, i-defend mo na ito qualified na ako. Let's say hindi ka pa na-qualify ng 24 months, nag-apply ka ng stage 2, syempre i-refuse nila. So while on your implied status, you could be able to complete your 24 months. So mag-re-resubmit ka lang ulit ng stage 2. Ngayon sa stage 1 naman, kung meron kang kung hindi ka pumasa sa ECA, sasabihin you didn't meet the requirements under the program, so i-refuse yung application for permanent residence, and at the same time i-refuse din yung work permit application, and that implied status is no more implied. You are out of status, and then you have to do the remedial measures na. So yung sasabihin nilang walang implied status sa home child care provider pilot, hindi po totoo yan. Wala pong regulation na nagsasabi na kapag nakapagpasa ka ng work permit extension mo before your current work permit expires, you are out of status after your work permit expires, the one that you are currently holding. Hindi po totoo yan. So wag po kayong maniwala dyan. Okay? Just, I hope you share this with everyone na nagtatanong sa group and sa mga friends na hindi nila talaga alam ang gagawin. I hope I shed light dito sa may gray area nitong implied status. And probably some other live natin, we will tackle only implied status and all the scenarios under the implied status. Okay, from Chaka Parils. Ma'am, good day po. Hindi po ako pumasa sa ECA. Then tapos ko na po yung 12 months. If ever po ba mag-schooling me dito, after schooling, pwede pa ba agad ako apply PR? Even my status is student permit? Okay, I need to apply LMIA caregiver, na proceed my PR application, kasi ma'am, sa student permit, may 90 days allowance naman po after the graduate. Okay, this is a very good question, Chacha. Hindi ka pumasa ng ECA. So, um, nasa in-home caregiver program ka, I suppose, because this is the temporary foreign worker program wherein you could work unlimitedly for as long as there is a new LMIA for each work permit extension. Okay, so naka 12 months ka na. Tapos mag-aral ka ng 1 year post-secondary dito na certificate. So you could do that, but you have to be on study permit. So with that being said, you cannot work full-time. Hindi ka pwede mag full-time dyan kasi you're on study permit na, hindi ka na sa work permit. You are only allowed to work 20 hours per week and you could work full-time during school breaks and vacation. So, kung yan ang gagawin mo, ang requirement kasi pag nag-apply ka ng PR application mo under the new pilot, yung experience mo should be within the past 3 years. Let's say naka 1 year ka na mag-work, tapos mag-aral ka ng 1 year, di 2 years na yan. So, pwede ka ulit mag-LMIA new pilot, or pwede ka mag-apply kaagad-agad ng stage 1, less than 24 months experience. So, ang daming ang daming alternatives mo. So, natapos ka na, meron ka ng certificate, so ipapasa mo na yung hindi mo na kailangan ng ECA because meron kang Canadian education na. Hindi mo na kailangan magpa-assess. So, ipasa mo yan under stage 1, less than 24 months experience, and then you apply for occupation restricted open work permit. Now, kapag merong yung nagbigay sa'yo ng job offer, mas maganda rin mag-apply ka ng LMIA para sigurado na yung experience mo is under that na code. Kung bata yun, kailangan bata pa rin ang employer mo. Kasi kung magsiswitch ka sa matanda, yung 1 year mo mababaliwala yun. Kasi yung job offer mo nasa matanda. So it has to be consistent. If it's 4411, it has to be 4411 all the way, or 4412, 4412 all the way. So that is a good idea if you do that. And there are instances naman na naka 24 months na tapos hindi siya pumasa ng ECA. Tapos mag-aaral siya ng 1 year. So ang sabi within the past 3 years. So 1 year plus 24 months, pagkatapos na kagad nun, ipasa na kagad yung PR application. So, pwede kang doon na magpasa ka ng mga credentials mo, wala pa lang yung diploma, and dito ka nag-aral ng 1 year. I think that is acceptable. Kaya makakount pa rin yung experience mo within the past 3 years immediately preceding the application. So, yung mga hindi nakakapasa sa ECA, it's not the end of the world. You could study in class by a study permit, or you could study online without study permit and continue with the temporary foreign worker program as you complete the 24 months and you complete your studying. And then, pasa for stage 2, kasama na yung Canadian certificate, no more ECA. Okay, Chacha, I hope I have answered your question clearly. And we go to Anjo. Hi, ma'am. Mag-air sana po ako ng 2020 na po pa ba ang dependents? Kailangan pa rin po ba ng mag-pass ng passport niya at medical? Ano to? Hi, ma'am. Nag-ask sana po ako na 21 na po pa ang dependent, kailangan pa rin po ba ng passport? Yes, kailangan magpasa. Let's say, yung 21 na bata na ito, critical na yan, kailangan magpasa ka na ng PR application, whether stage 1 or stage 2, para malak yung age niya, para makasama siya sa application. Once na nabigyan ka ng AOR, meaning complete application process, so lock na yung age niya at the time na na ipinasa mo yung application. So, yung AOR will confirm na complete yung application mo na hindi isasoli. Kasi pag isinoli yan, walang lock-in age na mangyayari. Kapag returned application, it is presumed that there is no application received. Kaya, with this critical dependence, kailangan natin na careful tayo magpasa ng mga documents natin. We have to make sure that everything is complete, properly signed, updated forms, yung mga eligibility requirements is ipinasa natin na walang kulang. Now, kapag na-meet natin yung minimum requirements to be eligible for processing, the dependent child with 21 will be locked in age, although yung passport will follow on a later date. Basta write ka lang ng letter na the passport was already in process, provide the receipt from DFA para alam ng Canada, ng IRCC na kinukumpleto na yung requirements, and due to pandemic, napaka-limited ng mga slots na binibigay sa mga applicants, and they will understand. Okay, Jo? Christine Gonzalez. Ma'am, good afternoon po. Need po ba ng $20,000 sa bank account ng isang applicant ng PR makuha ang 2 anak? Okay, hindi masyadong clear yung question, Christine. So, under the new pilot, the principal applicant has the privilege na makuha yung family members dito, even though hindi pa na-finalize yung application for PR. So, yung 20,000 na sinasabi mong requirements, kasi merong ano yan, parang proof of funds requirements depende dun sa family size. Let's say ang family size mo is family of dalawang bata, yung isang asawa plus ikaw before entry to Canada, so that's family of 5. Let's say we assume family of 5 will be 23,000. So kung sasama lahat yan family mo on your initial entry to Canada, and it will be approved, you have to have proof of funds. Hindi naman sinabi doon na magpakita ka ng proof of funds, but if you will see the guidelines on officers na i-assess yung financial status ng family, you have to be ready na dapat merong proof of funds na ipapakita ka. Let's say it's 23,000 for the family of 5. Pakita ka lang ng bank statement or certificate from the bank na meron kang ganitong amount, or traveler's check, kasi ang allowed naman per head is 10,000 na dala-dala dito sa Canada. You have to declare that. Okay? And dapat mag-medical sila. Yung medical exam na i-request, ang IRCC ang magsasabi kung kailan magme-medical ang family members. Wag tayo mag-upfront medical exam, kasi ang upfront medical exam, lahat ng medical exam results is only valid for 1 year. Lalo na ngayon ang haba-haba ng processing time. So, medical is not really advised. So, when you are given the form IMM 1017, that's medical request, that's the time you have to go to contact your immigration final position sa whatever home country you have. Okay, Anjo and Christine, okay na ba tayo dyan? So, pag meron tayong proof of funds, pwede natin kuhanin yung sabay-sabay. Kung nandito ka na at kukuhanin mo sila, yung proof of funds will be lesser than 20,000 kasi yung principal applicant is nandito na at may trabaho. So if ever na dadating sila dito, yung 20,000 malaki na yun for family of 2, 2 anak. Malaki na yun. Siguro mga 10,000, 15,000 pwede na yun. And then sasabihin na lang nila na yung nanay nila is gainfully employed full-time, na ganun, and then naka-ready na lahat-lahat kasi nakakuha na kayo ng apartment, meron na silang titiran, or kung mayroong family member dito sa Canada na kamag-anak na mag-provide ng accommodation and food and some other financial assistance. So, I don't see any reason na hindi sila papapasukin. Okay. For EHC Ayoral, is there another interim for caregivers? No? Nasagot na natin ito. Okay. So, let's go to educational. Meron ba tayong ano dito?
Mikey.
Kay Karen Joanne Faye, ma'am, pwede po ba mag-change ng amo habang on process ang work permit sa bagong amo? Ang magbabayad ng tax ko ay previous na amo. Thank you. Okay. Ma'am, pwede po ba mag-change ng amo at habang on process ang work permit sa bagong amo, ang magbabayad ng tax ko ay ang previous na amo. Thank you. Okay. So, mag-change ka ng amo, but still hindi ka pa umaalis dun sa current amo mo. So still you could continue working with the same amo while in process yung work permit sa new amo. So ang magbabayad pa ng tax nung habang wala pa yung iyong work permit approval is yung amo mo pang currently. Ngayon, pag lumabas na yung work permit mo, kailangan umalis ka na dun sa amo kasi yung meron ka ng bagong status under the new employer. Meron akong ginawang ganyan, nag-change siya ng employer, ipinasa ko ng Sunday, new LMIA, work permit, tapos nag-apply ako ng interim work authorization para makapag-work na siya sa new amo, miski hindi pa na-finalize yung work permit. Aba, kahapon naka-receive na ako ng approval niya. Hindi lang approval sa interim work authorization ha, work permit approval na 7 days. Ito yung pinakamabilis. Okay, so with you, kapag ka naipasa mo na yung work permit, pwede kang mag-work web form na magsimula ka dun sa new amo para makapagsimula ka na miski wala pa yung hard copy ng work permit mo. So yung letter of authorization, marireceive mo yan sa email, ipiprint mo lang siya and then i-staple mo lang yan sa current work permit mo and then you're good to go. Pwede na sila mag-remit ng taxes on your behalf and then enjoy the privilege of working legally with the new employer. Christine, sabi niya, thank you so much, ma'am. Dalawa daw ba ang anak niyang kukunin. So, 20,000 is more than enough for you to get yung dalawang bata. Kay Samantha, good day po. Ask ko lang po if nag-assist po kayo ng PR application process. Yes. Kay Remelin Hernandez Alcaraz, good morning po, ma'am. Nakapasa na po ako ng working permit extension application online with medical upfront. Nagbayad din po ako ng biometrics. My question is, pwede po bang magamit yun sa aking PR application which is I'm going to submit on 2020. So yung biometrics mo, magkaiba kasi yung biometrics na bayad sa temporary residents, sa temporary foreign workers. And then yung biometrics mo para sa PR, you have to pay another $85 for each family member. So, $85, pero pagka nagdalawa o tatlo or mas marami, 170 lang naka-ano na siya, naka-fix. From DM Haiko, hello po, pwede po ba ako mag-sponsor ng sister-in-law ko for caregiver pathway? I am here po as a student. Magandang question yan. But, ang requirements kasi para makakuha ka ng kailangan meron kang stability dito. Let's say, kung student ka for 2 years or 3 years, tapos ang processing time niyan, I don't think na wala kasi i-mention sa regulation na yung mga temporary foreign workers, yung estudyante pwede mag-hire ng caregiver. Siguro pwede kang mag-hire ng caregiver dito within Canada. Hindi mo kailangan ng work permit. So yung mga PRs and Canadians ang kuhanin mo o yung mga nagka-open work permit. Pero to sponsor, I think you're not yet qualified kasi hihingan ka ng financial ability. And then, titingnan din yung security mo na as employer. Hindi ka pa naman masyadong permanent dito sa Canada kasi under temporary residence ka pa lang. So, I would say, medyo malabo pagka nagkuha ka. Kay Ann Estrella, hi ma'am, ask ko lang po, pag-apply po ng SERV, hindi ba yun counted sa 24 months or counted? Pag nag-apply ka ng SERV, ibig sabihin yan unemployed ka. So, your period of SERV will not be counted towards the 24 months. So, bayadan mo yun. So, it is considered you're unemployed. So, hindi ka nagtatrabaho. Kaya yung 24 months mo ma-extend. Okay? Kay EJ Pasha, question po, ano po ba ang pinagbabasihan ng IRCC para sa ECA? Madami po kasing naguguluhan, ano po ba ang tinitingnan nila dyan? Okay, i-discuss din natin yan. Pero to give you a brief answer at that, meron tayong tinatawag na Appendix B. Pag i-ginugel mo siya, type mo ECA report, assessment, it will lead you to Appendix B. As per Appendix B, ang tinatanggap lang nilang credential is yung mga completed. Let's say, sa Pilipinas, nakakompleto ka ng 2 years midwifery or 2 years secretarial, ayan, pasado ka. Pero kapag ka, let's say, nursing degree ka, tapos 3rd year ka lang, hindi mo natapos, hindi ka pasado. Kasi ang pinagbabasihan nila, completed credentials. No matter which school ka nag-aaral or nag-aaral, basta kailangan completed siya, meron kang diploma or meron kang certificate, at least 1 year or 2 years. So, yun ang ginagawa nila. So, kung makikita natin yung report sa let's say, ang West, kapag ka nag-submit ka ng incomplete credential, ang lalabas lang doon sa taas na credential summary is high school diploma. Tapos sasabihin nila sa high school diploma plus 2 years of undergraduate studies. Hindi po pasado yun. So, kailangan yung mga tinatanggap po ngayon is yung mga graduate na may certificate at may diploma para makonsider yung 1 year post-secondary natin. So, I think itong issue na to will be forwarded para sa next year na bagong program kasi masyadong mahirap eh. 1 year post-secondary lang. So, inisip natin, after high school mo, meron kang pinag-aralan na 1 year. Di 1 year post-secondary na yun. Para sa live-in caregiver program, ganun, 72 units lang, pwede na. So, ngayon, iba yung style nila, kailangan completed. So, probably this might be a good issue for the next program na i-change sana nila kasi parang unfair eh. Naka 3 years ka tapos hindi ka pala completed. Okay? Christine Gonzalez, one more question po. Unlimited po ba ang take ng IELTS? Unlimited ang take ng IELTS as long as na may pambayad ka. Okay? Ray Tolentino, ma'am, pwede po bang mag-submit ng peer application kahit wala pang 1 year as home support worker dito sa Canada? Yes. So, ang kagandahan na yan, miski hindi pa completed in 24 months mo, let's say dumating ka dito, naka 3 months ka, pwede ka na mag-convert yourself to the new pilot. This is what we call stage 1, less than 24 months of full-time work experience. So, okay na yan, tapos mag-apply ka ng Occupation Plus, Occupation Restricted Open Work Permit, which is 3 years, and once na-approve yan, then you have the independence na magpalipat-lipat ng employers kung hindi kayo masaya without undergoing LMIA and work permit application. Yun ang kagandahan ng restricted open work permit, ang sabi nila. But as of today, wala pa pong na-approve sa both pilots. Kaya wala pang restricted open work permit at sa mga stage 2, wala pa pong bridging open work permit approval. Just to give you an update. Joanna Joyce, may ask po ako, which month po ang the best submission? January po ba or wait till March? Since my immigration news, as soon as requirements completed from applicant with less than 24 months. Thank you po. More power. God bless. Okay, so, Kapag ka matatapos mo, makakakomplete ka na ng 24 months sa March, and then valid pa yung work permit mo, then I would say hintayin mo na yung 24 months completion para isang pasa ka na lang stage 2. Now, if your work permit will be expiring in March, I strongly suggest you submit your application in January before your current work permit expires para may implied status ka, and then pag na-complete mo yung 24 months, wag mo kagad ipasa. I would recommend na hintayin muna natin yung AOR, yung Acknowledgement of Receipt, para meron tayong file number. Para yung stage 2 na ipapasa natin, yung proof of 24 months completion, is maikakabit nila sa unang application mo. Kasi baka pag pinasa mo yan, matreat nila na second stage na stage 2 ka na application, and then hindi naman complete yung mga requirements mo. So I would say na let's wait for the AOR before you submit your 24 months. Anyhow, if you're working still with your same employer, you don't need a new LMIA, you're on employed status, enjoy the privilege of your current work permit, pwedeng magbayad ng tax, pwedeng magtrabaho legally and stay in Canada until final decision is received. Okay? Abidemi Sayombo. For a family of 5, how much will the settlement funds? Also, is there any time frame the fund should be in the bank account? Okay, for a family of 5, let's say you're submitting on stage 1, the bank account should stay at the time of submission until final decision is received, because they will be checking on the proof of funds if it's still available. Let's say for the family of 5, we assume that 25,000 proof of funds, that 25,000 should stay in the bank from day 1 you submit the application until you enter Canada, because that will be shown to the border officer. If you will be asked, is there proof of funds for your settlement in Canada, then you have to show that. If there are no questions asked, you don't need to show anything. So the trick when you will be at the port of entry, if questions are answerable by yes or no, just answer yes or no. And if you are asked to explain or show something, that's the time you have to show. Huwag tayong masyadong aggressive na, ito lahat. Kasi it might trigger red flag. Okay? Right to Lentino, ma'am, pwede po bang mag-submit ng peer kahit wala pang 1 year? Okay, tapos na ito. Samantha, pwede po bang pahi ng contact information po? Thank you. For 167952672, ang phone number ko, 416-795-2672, or you could contact me via Messenger. Corazon Ilaw ang account name. Okay. Net. Good PM po. Through interim pathway po ako. Same time po ako nagsabit ng PR and open work permit last October 2019. Wala pa rin pong update, more than 14 months na po, ganun po talaga katagal ang process, both. For the current time, talagang ganyan ang processing natin, and we cannot force immigration to make a decision on the application because they have to do that on their own time. So they have reasons on how they have their own reasons on when they will approve. So the reason, hindi po natin alam kung bakit hanggang ngayon wala pang na-PPR sa mga interim ng after the pandemic, saka dito sa wala pang na-approve yung mga 24 month stage 2. We don't know. I was only assuming na it's due to cost cutting because inilimit siguro nila. This is only my own opinion. Nililimit mo nila yung pagpasok ng mga immigrants kasi napakalaking ng gastos na inilabas ng Canada para dito sa nandito na yung mga temporary foreign workers, Canadians, and permanent residents. And they want to look after muna yung mga people na nandito. Because you know that the government of Canada is spending a lot of money to protect all the residents na nandito na sa Canada. Kaya we should understand the situation kasi this is treated as a whole country, hindi lang para sa isang segment. Let's say, I know it's frustrating for us for the caregivers to be long time waiting for the final decision and for their family to come, but we should also understand there are good reasons why the government are really pending the intake or the incoming of or admissions of these permanent residents na. From Dinbay Ferrer. Hello po ma'am, can I ask a question? Lagi nagko-confuse ako kasi ang eldest son ko mag 22 years old na po, hindi po siya tapos ng college. Makakasama po ba siya sa application ng PR? Thanks, I'm now in Canada. Okay, so if you have submitted your permanent residence application before the child turns 22, then the age is already locked in. So mapapasama siya sa iyo kasi ang dependent child ngayon, there's only two dependent type A and B, na yung type A 21 and below, and type B yung mga 22 and above na dependent solely for the financial support of the principal applicant po. So in your case, don't worry, nag-lock na yung age ng iyong anak. Okay? Baby Isa, I applied my LMIA by the agency over 2 months already, and I am surprised that you just said 7 days you receive the approval of work permit. So after the pandemic, lahat ng pinasa kong LMIA application, it took only 10 days na na-approve siya kasi priority processing siya. I don't know kung, kasi ang online application na yan, yung LMIA, you could submit it by email. And then makaka-receive ka rin ng confirmation na your LMIA application was received. And then within 10 days na i-interview na yung ng program officer yung employer. Kung hindi man interviewin, sa email na lang nag-a-ask ng question. So I don't know, 2 months wala pa. Baka nag-paper application siya or na-misplace. Pwedeng tumawag sa ESDC kung na-receive nila and see if what had happened, kung merong mga kulang, kung na-receive nila, na-misplace or everything. So the agent should contact ESDC if the application was received. I cannot answer na bakit 2 months. Kailangan talagang tumawag. But lahat ng pinasa namin application is 10 days lang na-approve ang LMIA, and yung work permit naman within 2 months na approve. But the latest na ginawa namin, which I submitted on last Sunday, and then I got the approval yesterday. Mau MK, Canadian citizen na po ako. Pwede po ba sponsor isa sa mga pamangkin ko? Okay, Canadian citizen ka. Meron kasing tinatawag na lonely Canadian. Kapag wala ka ditong asawa, wala kang anak, wala kang kapatid, wala orphan ka na, at wala kang aunts and uncles dito, pwede ka mag-qualify sa lonely Canadian. So with that, you have to qualify. Merong income requirements yan, at meron mga forms na ipinapasa para ma-approve, malaman kung approve ka dyan. Okay? From Mala, Longat, Miguel. Ma'am, ask ko lang po if pwede po ba bang i-declare yung school nila sa akin kahit na processing pa lang yung work permit? Ulit. Ma'am, ask ko lang po if pwede na po bang i-declare yung pagsahod nila sa akin kahit on process pa lang yung work permit ko? Thank you po. At ilang months po kailangan hintayin bago ma-receive po ito. Very hopeful po, helpful po kayo ma'am. Thank you. So, kapag ka nag-apply ka sa new employer, hindi ka dapat mag-declare pa ng work sa kanila. Yung sahod mo hindi pa pwede i-declare kasi wala kang proper work authorization, which is not allowed. So for those applicants na you cannot declare na working ka na sa new employer without proper approval ng work permit. Okay? For Buena Cervantes. Hi ma'am. Ask ko lang po ng close na kasi yung HCCP this year, matapos na po yung work permit ko January 26, 25, January 2, application ko by January 2. So, yung work permit ko January 25, 2021, okay lang ba na submit yung papers for extension of work permit at PR application by January 2? Same employer with ECA and ready, thank you. Yeah, pwede ka na magpasa niya. Kasi kapag stage 1 ka, kung sino yung current employer mo, siya magbigay ng job offer. Pag nagbigay siya ng job offer, pwede ka nang kumpleto na yung requirements mo as per IMM 5981. So, pasa mo na siya. Now, sabi ko nga, kapag nakompleto mo na yung 24 months, saka mo na ipasa yan pag may AOR. And then, kapag ka naman with the same employer ka, you don't have to do a new final decision is received. Dimple, Gian, Ella. Pero may time limit din daw ang new pilot program, kaya di rin maganda ang palipat-lipat ng amo. So, dito sa new pilot program, you will be given 3 years to complete the 24 months. So, dapat, pag nag-apply ka today, yung experience mo will be considered within the past 3 years. Let's say, paputol-putol ka nga, tapos yung 3 years mo, wala namang 24 months, hindi pwede. Kaya, kailangan mag-accumulate ka ng 24 months within the past 3 years bago ka magpasa. Okay? Kay Karen Joanne Faye, ma'am, ilang months po ang processing ng job offer para magkaroon ng work permit? Job offer. Kasi when we say job offer, it's for the new pilot. Yung LMIA, kung LMIA ang tinatanong mo, ang ano natin, ang ating time frame is ang processing ng LMIA, sabi ka, merong 7 days, may 10 days, merong 2 months, may 3 months. Depende. So, yung work permit, depende rin kung paano. Pero I would say, LMIA, maximum niya dapat 2 months. Ang work permit, maximum niyan is 3 months. 3 to 4 months. Alam mo na, napakadami nating questions. Hindi na natin siguro masasagot ito. We have to complete dito sa... I-discuss na lang natin yung ECA para ma-clear natin dito. So, we still have 5 minutes. 5 minutes, okay. So, sabi ko dun sa Appendix B, ito yung guide natin. Appendix B, ECA Report Assessment Outcomes. Sabi niya, sa 1-year post-secondary credentials, this is based on the Appendix B sa IRCC website. Okay? Sabi niya, 1-year post-secondary credential, college certificate. So, when we say college certificate, let's say it's 1 year or 2 years, merong certificate na hindi man siya diploma, bibigyan ka ng certificate. Completion of college level certificate. Okay, kung it's 1 year or 2 years or 3 years, bibigyan ka ng college level certificate. Mas sinabi ng Paris kapag ka sinabing completion of pag sinabing secondary school graduation, 2 years of college certificate. So, ibig sabihin nun, pasado yon. Okay? So, sa West naman, ang sinasabi, usually sa taas, pinakataas, sabing ganun, is educational, Canadian Equivalency Summary, Canadian Equivalency Summary. So, dyan natin nakikita ang assessment kung ikaw ay pasado. Kagaya nito, sabi niya, bachelor's degree, 4 years, kasi graduate to sa De La Salle. So, binigyan siya ng 4 years. So, sa baba, yung Canadian Equivalency, high school, the college degree, 4 years pa rin. So, pag nilagay dyan, high school ka lang, hindi ka kompleto. Pag sinabing undergraduate studies, hindi ka pasado. kailangan completion, yung equivalent sa completion na meron tayong diploma or certificate. Kung walang diploma, walang certificate, I'm sorry, hindi nila tinatanggap ngayon. Miski sasabihin nilang 3 years of undergraduate study, hindi pa rin pasado. Whether or not kung saang school ka nag-graduate, they don't care, basta meron kang certificate or diploma. Tapos sabi nga dito, university certificate, university diploma, 1-year certificate in blah blah blah, or post-secondary certificate with focus in area of, let's say, healthcare. 1-year post-secondary certificate with focus in area of ganon. 1-year certificate. So, pag sinabing 1-year certificate ka, whether kung saang school siya, miski pinakamababang school sa Pilipinas, basta meron kang certificate, okay yan. Tapos yung mga kaya nga pinaka-safe yung mga miski nasa vocational ka, and then may certificate ka na 2 years, good yun. Kasi completed ka. Pwedeng isabihin nila completion of equivalent to 1-year certificate. Kasi kulang yung K-12 natin. Tapos kapag ka naka-midwife ka, 2 years yan, natapos mo, then qualified ka dyan. Kasi merong diploma. So, sabi nga dito, maraming ang nagreklamo because yung mga naka-third year, tapos hindi pa rin nila na-meet yung 1-year post-secondary. I think this could be another change sa next 5 years pag nagbago ang program. So, with that, wala po tayong magagawa kung na ito yung report nila. So, ang remedy dyan, mag-aral. Pag nag-aral ka ng online na walang classroom appearance, you don't need a study permit. Now, kung magka-classroom ka, you need a study permit. So you could defer yung full-time job and then mag-study and then magpasa ka agad ng under stage 1 because meron kang ability to do the job miski ilang years na yan. And then if it will be counted towards the 24 months pagka nagpa-apply ka ng PR, so that should be considered. But if the time of application, yung first na experience mo hindi na pasama, then you have the chance naman na magtrabaho kasi under the temporary foreign worker program, you have the privilege to work unlimitedly, as I said, if you have a work permit and LMIA, new LMIA and then work permit. So I think that's fair enough for everyone. Okay, so until next time, napakadami po nating questions, and then yung mga questions yan, we could address it next time before we start the program. Ikokopihin po natin yan, tapos sasabihin po natin kung kanino galing yan. And again, maraming salamat po sa mga viewers natin, sa mga masugid na nagpa-follow ng Immigration and You, from the bottom of my heart. From Past Destination Canada, Immigration Services, maraming salamat po. Stay safe everyone and take care. Bye for now.